It's 1977 in Colorado, USA. Joe Good and John Bad arrive on a school campus in town. A young woman has gone missing. Anna, 21 years old. Her friends have alerted police to her disappearance. Anna's door is locked from the inside. Police force the door open. Something's off. What's wrong here? I'm sure she's fine. She probably just went on a date, don't you think? I don't know. She would have mentioned something to her friends. It seems strange that the young woman would have left without her personal belongings. But it's more than strange to have blood stains under the covers and under the bed. Joe and John interrogate the students on campus, looking for leads. The day after her disappearance, a piece of paper is found in Anne's handbag. On it is written, "My first represents 50. My second is the first of 26. My third can be found in the first column and fourth row of a table. And my fourth is found twice in B. I can be either natural or artificial. What am I? Geez, first a missing persons case, now riddles?" The answer is a lake. L represents 50 in Roman numerals. The first letter of the alphabet is the letter A. In the periodic table, the first column and fourth row correspond to potassium, symbolized by K. The word B contains two letter E's. Last but not least, a lake can be either natural or artificial. Detective John is convinced that this answer will lead to new clues. There's a lake nearby to where the student disappeared. They head there as quickly as possible. Once on the scene, the detectives look around the lake, where they see an object floating near the water's edge. A body? No, a mannequin, with the name Beth engraved on its scratched and tapped head. Just then, Joe and John are alerted of another disappearance. Someone named Beth. Inside the mannequin, they find another piece of paper with a riddle. What could it mean? A meaningless code, GPS coordinates, a list of names. I'm starting to feel like I'm in an episode of, what's that show? The one with all the riddles? Oh, and make sure to click the red button and subscribe to our Riddle Me This channel. The numbers correspond to letters of the alphabet. By counting, you decode the names. Anna, Beth, and Kara. The inspectors decide that this must be a list of victims. Returning to their headquarters, they begin investigating the potential third victim. The investigators discover that the two victims and the third potential victim were all in the same class last year. What's more, all of them were witness to a crime. A young man, Bob, tried to kill their professor. All three testified against him, and Bob spent several months in prison. Could he be looking for revenge? A police patrol is sent to Kara's home, but there's no sign of her. John and Joe tried to intercept Bob at his home. On the way, they come across a VW Beetle-type car, and remember that they saw the same car on campus after the first disappearance. The two inspectors pull the car over. The driver's name? Bob. They search the car and find a metal box locked with a code and accompanied by a paper. The two inspectors try to unlock the box themselves. What is the code? In all my time as an inspector, I never thought I would solve a case by solving riddles. They unlock the box. Inside, they find a mannequin's hand, a box cutter, and a roll of tape. They take Bob into custody for questioning, almost certain he's guilty. Still, they need solid proof. But their suspect refuses to cooperate. Joe and John need to get their suspect to talk. What will they do? Bring in the professor he tried to kill? Administer a lie detector test? Let him go and track him? We can't mess this up. Let's get the interrogation room ready. The two inspectors bring Bob into a room with Bob's former professor and photographs of the three young women hung up on the wall. After an hour of questioning, Bob finally cracks and admits to having kidnapped and killed the three women before burying them in the forest. Why? Bob had been his former professor's punching bag, and he'd been psychologically worn down. To show his superiority, he killed innocent people. His plan had also been to kill the professor. The bodies of the victims were recovered. Bob admitted to wanting to play with the police by leaving them clues. But he ended up getting played by his own game. Bob is found guilty and receives the death penalty. But just an hour before his execution, he makes a chilling announcement. What does Bob reveal to the inspectors? That he committed some 30 acts of homicide throughout the country? That he's part of a cult and this is just the beginning? That he's schizophrenic? What does he want to tell us? A message for his family, maybe? I smell bad news. Bob announces that he's actually committed some 30 murders since the beginning of the 1970s. Don't forget that this story was inspired by true events. Do you know the real story? Do you know any good true crime stories? Which is the creepiest? Comment now and maybe we'll do an episode chronicling your suggestion. Tune in next time for another episode of Premeditated, a Riddle Me This production.